McMahon High School, home of the Senators. Thank you for joining us. This is a DAF Media broadcast, a joint broadcast between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation, a joint venture. Thank you for joining us, and it will also be streamed on NCTV. So for all of you joining us on both DAF Media and NCTV, thank you for joining us. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Izzy Shue. And Izzy, we have a really good one here. New Canaan playing against the Greenwich Cardinals. New Canaan, the #1 seed in the FCIAC tournament this year, playing host, as it's at a neutral site, to the Greenwich Cardinals. And Izzy, the New Canaan offense has been rolling this season. The New Canaan Rams find themselves 14-1-1, well deserving of that 1 seed. Probably the best team in the FCIAC. No team's going to argue with big wins over the best teams in the FCIAC. And Greenwich also playing really at their best lacrosse right now, coming off a victory against Ridgefield after losing to them earlier in the season. Got past Ridgefield, now find themselves in a tough matchup against the New Canaan Rams.
Yeah, the New Canaan offense is really strong. They have a lot of juniors and seniors out there who have been key contributors this season, so we'll definitely see a lot from them on the offensive side of the field. And then on the defensive side of the field, we have CC Patterson, their star goalie, who's been performing all season long and helping the Rams throughout all their games.
Yeah, you talk about it. It's not just the offense of the New Canaan Rams, or it's not just the defense. Both have been really cohesive and have been dominating and really producing the best lacrosse we've seen here from the New Canaan Rams in a while. We mentioned they made it to the FCIAC championship and the state championship last year, unfortunately falling to Darien in both games. But they have a chance this year to take out Greenwich, then move on to play the winner of the Wilton-Darien game, which will come up next on DAF Media Network. So they definitely have an opportunity here. And inside the draw circle for the Rams, you'll see Lexi Tully, the girl who's seen a lot of the draws. And then on the other side, you got Kate Adorney for the Cardinals.
It actually looks like Emma Abazia against Lexi out there.
The first draw of the FCIAC semifinals about to get underway here at Jack Casagrande Field, home of the Senators. Face-off draw. One kicked off the foot of Abazia.
Ooh.
And going to be scooped up.
Addie Crowley will come up with that one there.
Possession going to New Canaan. Now New Canaan can get into their offense early on, and both these teams need a strong start, right, if they want to win this game. A strong start goes a long way, especially in playoff lacrosse, but especially here against, in one of the best conferences in the country in lacrosse. A strong start in the playoffs takes you a long way.
We'll definitely see the Rams settle it here. They love a settled offense, so we're going to definitely see them waiting for the perfect opportunity to go to goal.
Janica inside to Rowe. Rowe finds her way, weaves inside. She's going to get a shooting space violation, her first 8-meter mark. The first 8-meter mark on the day for either of these teams. The first one's going to be awarded to number 27 on the Rams, Emma Rowe, the junior committed to Columbia, one of the best offensive weapons. She drives in, shoots. Looks like a Greenwich stick might have gotten a part of it, as that one sailed wide over the head of the Greenwich Cardinal keeper. It's going to be Catherine Janis in net for the Cardinals. Down the Cardinals have Abazia trailing up through the middle of the field. The Maryland commit, one of the best players in the country on the Cardinals team, inside early. And a shot and score. That one by Aubrey Roth, capitalizing again. Aubrey Roth there. First goal of the FCIAC semifinals goes to the Cardinals.
That was a great goal there. The Cardinals came down the field fast, and didn't look like the New Canaan defense got the opportunity to set themselves up yet, but that was a great first goal from the Cardinals.
Definitely caught the New Canaan defense off guard. You mentioned not able to get settled back there. Then Aubrey Roth made the cut across, kind of tiptoeing the crease line, and got the ball past Patterson. Nothing you can do if you're CC Patterson.
We'll see the same two on the draw here.
See Lexi Tully and Emma Abazia inside the draw circle. Lexi Tully, one of the primary draw circle takers on this Rams team, and the senior captain, recorded her 200th career point in her entire high school career. She wins that draw. She recorded her 200th career point earlier this year.
Looks like she's going.
Lexi Tully inside, and she scores. Lexi Tully counters quickly. Greenwich didn't have the lead for long. 10-28 remaining, and we already have 2 goals. Lexi Tully.
Great first start there for the Rams as well. Way to respond to that goal. Normally, like I said before, the Rams like their settled offense, but I think that was a smart choice there by Lexi Tully to go to goal and get one on the board early.
What a shot there by Lexi Tully. You can't give her those opportunities. She's shown time and time again throughout her high school career that she's a scorer, and she really just put that one past Janice. It looked like it was probably a bounce shot that really Janice had no shot at stopping.
That looked like it was offside hip too, which is really challenging spot for a goalie to save.
Abazia and Tully inside the draw circle. This one won by the Cardinals, then scooped up by DePietro. Giselle DePietro gonna get Greenwich into their offense. She had 3 goals, 2 assists, and 2 draw controls in their first round quarterfinal win over Ridgefield. So DePietro trying to maintain that kind of hotness right there out on the field.
Ooh.
Ball back over
Good
to
catch there.
DePietro. He's gonna flip it down. Cardinals gonna settle things down, right? And I think one of the keys to this game for both teams is to find your good offensive opportunities. You're not gonna rush your offensive possessions because they come at a premium, especially in these playoff games. But you're gonna settle things down, right? Slow down the pace of the game, and that's exactly what Abazia is doing.
Look there.
Abazia tries to go inside, poked away. And that'll be an 8-meter mark, I believe, inside the 8-meter circle, and it'll be number 6. Leighton Collier. She's going to have the first 8-meter mark for the Cardinals, second of the entire game. Collier decides to take it out, doesn't decide to knife her way inside, goes back out, then Greenwich looks for the cut. Not able to find anything. They'll just set things up. But what do you think about that decision, right? Deciding not to kind of figure out, create, drive inside, but instead pass it out.
I think that was a smart decision. Like you said before, every offensive possession in a game like this is very valuable. So if they think that they can find a better option after another minute or two, I think that's a smart decision for them.
Drive by DePietro inside the pass there to her sister, Sophie DePietro. Scores that one. DePietro sister to DePietro sister. That one makes it 2-1 Cardinals. The Cardinals firing on all cylinders early. Greenwich now up 2-1 against the number 1 seeded New Canaan Rams. 8:44 remaining. What a start for the Cardinals.
Definitely a quick start of the game. I think that obviously the New Canaan Rams have a strong defense, but I think, Greenwich has come out hot, and I definitely think it woke them up a little bit. So we'll see what adjustments they make going forward. Yeah, you saw the replay there. Just a great way to pass it inside to DePietro. Sisters usually have that strong bond. I know you have a sister on this New Canaan Rams team, but sister to sister finds a way right inside and a great pass. Abazia, and this time Russell. Devin Russell, the 5-star, off to Boston College next season, trying to capitalize, win an FCIAC championship and maybe even a state championship. Great job there by Emma Rowe to draw the shooting space call, and she'll be back on the 8-meter. Rowe's going to get her second 8-meter opportunity. Her first one went just above the cage, above Janice's head. Rowe decides to pass it out over to Russell, then feeds it to Lexi Tully. Back to Russell, knifing away inside, but good defense from the Cardinals. And that'll be another 8-meter mark. That's going to definitely be a challenge for the Cardinal defense, is stopping all the offensive firepower of the Rams, but also limiting the really good opportunities as Devin Russell knifes her way inside, shoots just wide right. Looks like it'll stay New Canaan ball. That and back up top to Russell. Feeds it to her co-captain, fellow co-captain, Lexi Tully. And here's the Rams just going to move the ball around, kind of settle things down. Sydney Patton up top, committed to UPenn, a junior on this Rams team, but really took that step up this season as well. It seems like everyone on this New Canaan defense just took the step up. Lexi Tully, my apologies, that was Maddie Tully, working her way inside. You talk about sister bonds in lacrosse. Maddie Tully, Lexi Tully, probably the strongest sister bond maybe in the FCIAC. For sure, they're great.
saw Devin Russell cutting across the middle, looking for the pass. Ball
Good D.
could not be scooped up by Patton.
Ooh.
Ball's going to go to the Cardinals. Looks like the Rams thought they deserved that possession, but a little bit too physical. Here are the Cardinals now moving into the offensive zone past the 30. That is McFerrin. McFerrin decides to dump it off to her teammate, DePietro. Cardinals find themselves up 2-1 right now. 6:30 remaining here at a neutral site FCIAC semifinal. New Canaan hosting the Greenwich Cardinals. And thank you for joining us on DAF Media, NCTV, wherever you are. Thanks you for taking your time out of your day to tune in to some of the best lacrosse in the country, high school lacrosse. Greenwich now moving the ball around up top.
Looks like they're really just waiting. You know, they're in a good position here up early on in the game against the #1 seed. So I definitely think they're going to be patient and really make sure they're capitalizing off of all their opportunities.
Yeah, and does this surprise you, you know, that Greenwich has come out and taken control? You see a couple of cuts across the middle. You know, the New Canaan defense not marking up the offensive weapons of Greenwich, maybe not as well as you would have expected as they get the defensive stop.
Yeah,
Ball's dumped off to Patterson.
Greenwich has a lot of offensive threats. Emma Bazia, Giselle DePietro, you know, they definitely have some weapons out there who need to be stopped. So I think that it's no surprise that Greenwich was able to get 2 goals early.
Yeah, another loose ball here.
Like the Rams will come
Lots
up
of
with
girls
it.
trying to come up with it. Ball picked up by Rowe. A little bit of contact closest to us on your screen. Ends up in a Greenwich Cardinal falling on the ground. But here is New Canaan going to settle into their offensive possession. And again, I think it goes back to like patience, right? You want to kind of just remain calm here. You know, you find yourself in an early deficit, but a 1-goal deficit isn't that much.
The Rams went down early like this to the Wilton Warriors about a few weeks back. So, you know, I don't think they're freaking out or anything. They have the offensive, you know, threat to get some goals on there, but I definitely think they're still going to take their time. They're not in a rush here.
Lane back up top to Patton, who then feeds it to Devin Russell. Looks like the Rams might be drawing up a play here. But one thing about this Rams team this year, right, is you mentioned wanting to stop Devin Russell, Lexi Tully, but if you do that, you box them off as Darien did in the 5-5 tie. It opens up offensive opportunities for the rest of this New Canaan offense. Here's Lexi Tully going to draw the shooting space violation. That'll be an 8-meter mark at the top of the key, pristine position on the 8-meter mark for Lexi Tully.
See what she decides to do with it. So far, I don't think we've had any goals off an 8-meter.
See if she decides to take it in herself or pass out. We've seen most of the time today. Lexi Tully decides to take it in. Great save there.
And a rebound by Sydney Patton.
Great save by Janice, but Patton follows up the save with a shot of her own, and she scores. Sydney Patton. And that's the 2nd goal on the day, ties it up, the neutralizer here early on.
That was definitely a great initial save. That was definitely a hard shot. Looked like she almost got it with her foot or something, but Sydney Patton was there waiting and managed to put that on the back of the net.
And if you're Janice, right, there's nothing you can do. You made the initial stop on Tully. You talk about rebound control. Maybe could have controlled that rebound a little bit better, but you just saw in the replay, Patton was right there.
Yeah,
picked it up and scored.
She was really close to the goal there, so yeah, there's not much that she can do there. But tie game, 2-2. Same. Or actually, no, it looks like we'll have Devin Russell taking the draw here.
Abazia still in for the Cardinals inside the draw circle. And in the white is Devin Russell. Lexi Tully and Devin Russell kind of flip-flop inside the draw circle for most of this season. You saw Emma Rowe take a couple of draws, but a lot of good options if you're the Rams, if one's really not playing well, right?
Looks like Sydney Patton will come up with that one.
Kicked by Patton, picked up, then moved into the offensive zone for the Rams. And here's New Canaan going to settle things down after scoring the neutralizer just a couple of seconds ago. Devin Russell up top, back over to Patton. And we've seen Patton really orchestrate the offense for most of this year, right? She's been kind of the assist maker on this Rams team. You mentioned finding players inside for the cuts. And she's just been able to settle things down for this Rams team, and she's been that bright spot at points where it seems like they can't decide who to take the ball.
Bella Lane will draw the shooting space call there.
Bella Lane, the senior, going to take the shooting space, the 8-meter mark for the Rams. They haven't scored on an 8-meter mark today. I mean, you can count that Patton goal maybe as an 8-meter mark, but I wouldn't say so because the initial stop by Janice. So they haven't scored yet, which is uncharacteristic. Janice really playing well in net for the Rams, and she makes another save. Janice this time on Lane. She stopped Devin Russell, stopped Lexi Tully, and adds Bella Lane to that list.
Bit of a drop ball there, but looks like Greenwich will maintain possession.
See New Canaan really not pressuring the ball much, just kind of
You'll
allowing Greenwich to take it up into the offensive zone, which they do. Ball brought in the zone by DePietro.
Take it slow down the field. We've seen their fast break can be very successful, but again, they're not in a rush. It's a tie game, so looks like they're just going to take their time with it.
And I think that's why you kind of keep that New Canaan Rams defense back, right, so you prevent the Cardinals from capitalizing off the transition offense. I think we're seeing some in-game adjustments by Coach Kristen Woods, one of the best coaches in the FCIAC. See DePietro working on her defender, trying to work on Quinn, the Richmond commit. Now Quinn moves up to double Abazia. Relentless defense from the Rams, but a little bit too physical there on the double team.
Looks like she'll be on the center hash.
It'll be a 12-meter mark for Abazia.
Probably not quite what she was looking for there, but definitely got the call in her favor, so I'm sure the Cardinals will manage to find something to do with this.
I think you're always going to get that call. It looked like she was pushed to the ground pretty heavily, but Abazia looked like she was going to shoot, then finds a cutter inside. And that inside cutting was DePietro, number 18. Sophie DePietro already has a goal on the day, trying to add another one to the list.
Looks like she'll be on the hanging hat, or actually first hash. Maybe we'll see our first 8-meter goal of the day.
DePietro looking to her left. It looks like she might want to dump it off to Flynn Tabner, or Abazia, my apologies, Abazia on the left side. But here's DePietro. And she does. She decides to pass it out to Abazia. Abazia, you can tell really someone that Cardinals lean on here early in this game. Abazia. And she scores. Abazia turns the corner quickly, goes high, low to high on the shot, right past Patterson. It looked like that was on the stick side, wrapped around shot there from Abazia.
So Greenwich will go up 3-2 with 10 seconds left in the first quarter.
Look at the replay there. Abazia just flipped a switch when she turned the corner, decided quick release time, shot, score by Abazia, the Maryland commit.
Although Emma is like a true midi, so she can really play anywhere, all over the field. She's great at D, great at offense, and no matter what part of the 8-meter she's on, she definitely can find a way to score and get a good shot off.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that you talk about in a lot of these higher recruits, right, is their versatility. You see, used to see really position players just stay at their respective positions, but now you see midfielders able to play attack, attackers able to play midfield. Even the defense of Devin Russell or Emma Abazia is still top-tier defense.
Greenwich will win that draw and maintain possession.
Ball again brought in by Giselle DePietro. That will end the first quarter here at Jack Casagrande Field. The Cardinals find themselves up 3-2 against the number 1 seeded Rams. And thank you again for joining us on Darien, DAF Media, and NCTV. DAF, a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. This broadcast is also being simulcast to NCTV, so thank you for joining us wherever you are, whether it's in the car, driving up to the game. We've got a lot of good lacrosse action here, and the Cardinals find themselves up 3-2 here early on. What went well for them, Shu?
You know, I think I mentioned their offensive threats before, but they managed to find the back of the cage pretty early on in the game. And back when they played in regular season, Greenwich definitely went on a run later in the game, but they've come out really quick and they've put a bunch of goals in. So I definitely think that it's been a great game so far, and there's been a lot of competition on both sides of the field, but Greenwich has just been able to execute better on their shots so far.
Yeah, and if you're New Canaan and you're Coach Woods in that huddle, what are you changing? It looked like Greenwich controlled the pace of the game. You see New Canaan really when they get rolling, they speed up the pace of the game. What are you looking for? What adjustments are you making?
I definitely think that I know that New Canaan has a very specific ride that they like to do. They like to put their attackers on their straining line and wait for them to come down to them. But I think that they leave their offensive threats, Greenwich, in the middle of the field, which allows them to have those fast breaks. So I definitely think being tighter on the ride and then also on the offensive side of the field, just making smarter decisions, not being afraid to pull out those 8 meters and look for something better, because so far they haven't been super successful on their shots.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing you mentioned. One thing that I want to pick out of that great analysis that you just gave us is being tighter on the ride. It looked like New Canaan was just allowing a little bit too much space for the offensive firepower of Abazia and DePietro, both DePietro sisters and Aubrey Roth, to kind of get some room and then move from the defense to the offensive zone without really any pressure. And I think that's something that New Canaan needs to do, pressure a little bit more, although you want to make sure that you don't give up those crease cuts. You have to pressure the ball a little bit more.
Definitely. I think that's how they scored their first goal off that fast break, and I definitely think that set the tempo for this game. It's been very fast-paced, but they came out hot and they got that first goal, which I think has been really helpful for them, and it just shows that New Canaan needs to be tighter on the ride to prevent those goals.
Yeah, and how big is that first goal? You mentioned a playoff game where you're not favored, you're the 5 seed coming in against the 1 seed. How big is that first goal?
I think it's really big. I think, you know, if you're the number 1 seed like New Canaan, I don't think it's anything super special. But if you're the number 4 ranked team and you're not favored to win, I think it definitely gives you a boost of confidence. And I also think that it wakes up the other team and really makes sure that they're taking you seriously. So I think that was definitely big for them and is going to help them as the game goes on.
Yeah, and they've been playing with a lead for most of this first quarter. We'll see if they can continue that trend. And that'll really help them if you're Greenwich, right? We mentioned playing with the lead, although as simple as it may seem, in big games, especially against this New Canaan defense, I'm a little bit surprised. You've seen New Canaan. I know Greenwich is a top offense in the country as well, but New Canaan's defense known for their cohesiveness and their pressure, their on-ball pressure. You didn't see much of that in the first quarter.
Yeah, and I think going up, even if it's only 1 goal, you know, it's a buffer, and I think that it makes sure all the players out there are playing more confidently and they're not as scared to make mistakes. So I think that buffer is definitely very helpful and make sure that people are taking risks and are going for those shots.
Second quarter of the first FCIAC semifinal. Girls lacrosse gets underway. Picked up by DePietro. Again, DePietro. A ball merchant there off that draw circle, picking up every loose ball. Great ground ball control from DePietro and gives it right off to Abazia, the Maryland commit.
Greenwich has definitely shown their speed on the draw controls today. They've been very successful.
Here is Greenwich. Again, just going to settle things down. There was the drive from McFerrin. It looked like she was trying to get past her defender, but couldn't. Ball back up top to Abazio. Abazio guarded by Crowley. New Canaan's kind of 1 defender. Abazio works her way inside. Quinn falls to the ground. Abazio is going to get an 8-meter mark. Emma Abazio, and my apologies, it'll be a 12-meter mark, not an 8-meter mark. And you know the difference between a 12 and an 8-meter mark. It's a substantial difference. Yeah,
definitely. She was probably hoping for an 8-meter, but she definitely has range with her shot, so.
You saw the cut there inside from DePietro.
And that'll
if you're the Rams, you have to mark DePietro coming around the cage on the 12-meter mark, the 8-meter mark. And throughout the entire game, DePietro has just kind of wrapped herself around, found herself open with her stick, ready for the ball.
I think, obviously, we've said her name a bunch of times, but Emma Abazia is a huge offensive threat. But, you know, they definitely have other ones out there who you can't leave open because they are just as, you know, capable of scoring those goals.
Devin Russell receives the pass midair and shoots. Devin Russell, what a goal there from the senior captain. We'll have to take another look at that one, the replay. You see the pass inside right to Russell. Then she gets it right past Janice, like, what a shot there from
Yeah.
Russell, the quick release. Not sure Janice was expecting her to shoot it kind of midair or right when she planted her foot. Instead, probably expecting her to come down and make sure she had possession. But Devin Russell is showcasing her talent and the reason why she's a top 5 commit in the class of 2024.
Definitely.
What a way to start off the second quarter, too. Right now, you find yourself all tied up 3-2-3.
Yeah.
10:25 remaining here at Jack Casagrande Field.
And it's very competitive. No team has really gone on a run. It's pretty much been back and forth with goals, which I think has been really exciting to watch.
It's definitely been exciting. And thank you guys again for joining us on DAF Media and NCTV 78 for the first FCIAC semifinal.
Reagan Quinn going with the field with the ball. Looks for Maddie Tully.
New Canaan moving back into the offensive zone, trying to find their first lead of the game. Settling things down here. Here's Tully behind the cage over to Rowe. Then swings it back up top to Patton.
Now
Moves it over.
that it's all tied up, I think it's a good opportunity for the Rams to show off their settled offense and slow down the pace of the game a little bit and take their time here and make some smarter decisions on offense.
Yeah, and that's something we've seen them do all year, right? Make those smart decisions. It's not about scoring as quickly as possible, but instead getting that good shot opportunity. Rowe there,
Great
saved by Janice. Rowe with the shot. Saved by Janice. And Janice having herself a day so far. She's made 5 or 6 saves. Point blank saves, too, might I add, on the strong New Canaan offense. Here's Abazia moving, transitioning from the defense to the offensive zone. I'm going to give Greenwich another offensive possession. Game tied up at 3 here.
Oh, wow. Her second crease roll there.
Crease
That
roll
was a
there.
great shot. She really threaded the
Shot
needle.
there by DePietro, I believe, right?
Oh, that was Abazia.
That was Abazia. My apologies. Abazia there coming right around the corner. Feeds it
Great goal.
to herself. Great job from Abazia. Turns the corner. We saw her the second time she's done that today. Abazia. What a shot there. And Patterson, again, no chance of stopping that one. Wraps around. Goes tight to the post and scores. Abazia and a new face inside the draw circle for the Rams. It'll be Maddie Tully, the sister of Lexi Tully, both whom are headed off to Cornell. Lexi next season, and Tully the season after that. Maddie Tully the season after that.
Looks
to
like
join
Maddie
their
Tully
sister.
will come up with that.
Tully comes off with the ball control, the draw control. And here is New Canaan settling things down after giving up the quick goal. And we mentioned it really hasn't been hard for Greenwich to score. They just found themselves, they just gave up a goal, and Abazia counters right back just about a minute after New Canaan scored. So New Canaan's defense has to figure out a way to get a couple stops, consecutive stops, and give their offense a chance to shine. Patton over to Russell. A great
Take the
deke there
middle.
by Devin Russell, and
great
she
goal.
scores. Bottom right corner on Janice. Devin Russell finishing through contact. Devin Russell.
Looks like the Rams might automatically get the draw here. It looks like there may have been a push after the play. Looks like one of the refs is speaking to the other one.
Yeah, one of the refs threw the yellow flag. I believe that will be maybe a penalty.
Oh, yeah.
And it will be a penalty. No,
Maybe that was substitution.
it is a substitution, so we won't see a penalty. Devin Russell finished through contact, found the neutralizer. Makes it 4-4 here at Jack Casagrande Field. 8:16 remaining in the second quarter. A high-scoring affair already
Yes.
for both of these teams. Tully in the draw circle. Looks like she almost won it against Abazia, and she does.
She'll come up with her second one of the day. So far, she's been very successful.
If you're New Canaan, are you keeping Tully inside the draw circle, Maddie Tully?
It looks like it. I think she's had a lot of success, so far since she's been on the circle. I definitely think it's very, there's good matchups on the circle, like besides the people taking the draw. So I think that if you can manage to get someone to get a self-draw off, I think that'd be really good. And that looks like Maddie's been successful with that.
And also, how big of an advantage is it for the Rams? You mentioned Abazia has been in there for the Cardinals for most of this game, taking the draw. The pass inside We'll get back to that in a
Good
second, but
save.
Janice, another point-blank save, fighting for the rebound, ball inside the crease, and she picks it up. Another save by Janice. But how big of an advantage, if you're New Canaan, is it to have 3 or 4 girls who are some of the best in the country at the draw circle? And if you're Greenwich, Abazi has been winning most of them, but how much of an advantage is it for New Canaan?
You know, every game it's going to be a little different. It really depends on who you're taking the draw against. So I think that it's important to have a long list of people who can do it, so you can get new people in there and try something new if it isn't going your way so far.
Here is New Canaan pressuring the ball. That was Devin Russell on Abazia, making sure Abazia knows that she's trailing. New Canaan on the ride. It really hasn't been that successful today. And the ride definitely been a weaker part of their game today, as well as that defense.
Looks like the Cardinals are taking it slow here. They're waiting.
You're going to see a little bit of a substitution for the Cardinals. And they're just going to move the ball around again. Patient, potent offense of the Cardinals. Slowing things down, ball back in the stick of Abazia up top.
With no shot clock in high school, at least in Connecticut, there's no shot clock in high school girls lacrosse. I think it's definitely a strategy, and I think it's definitely important that they utilize this time that they have, and they're looking for their best opportunity, and they're giving their midfielders an opportunity to get some rest.
Quinn on DePietrio there.
Great
Completely
D.
stopped her inner tracks. Now Addie
Abazio.
Crowley, the defender for the Rams on Abazio. A little bit too much. We'll see if they throw the yellow card. They don't, but it will be an 8-meter mark for Abazio. And I think that's definitely something to touch on is the shot clock will touch on after the result of this 8-meter mark. But here is Abazio, the Maryland commit.
Definitely
for the
dangerous
Cardinals.
on an 8-meter.
Goes right inside, knifes her way
Great
inside, and
shot.
she scores. Emma Abazia makes it 5-4 Greenwich. You can't give 8-meter marks to Abazio, and she shows why. Abazio knifes her way inside and scores.
Definitely. That's a hard position for, we talked about how good CC Patterson is, but once they get really close and they're all like on the crease, you know, that's definitely a difficult shot for her to save.
And that was a good starting position for Abazio, too, right towards the top of the key, top of kind of the circle there for Abazio. And if you're New Canaan, you have to limit those 8-meter marks that you're giving up, and even those 12-meter marks, because Greenwich has been converting.
Definitely. Looks like Maddie Tully will take the draw again against Emma Abazia.
Ref still placing the ball in the sticks. Draw controlled
Greenwich
there
will come
by
up
the
with that.
Cardinals. That'll be clear. Collier comes up with the ball, then feeds it over to McFerrin. The Cardinals move back in to the offense. The Cardinals just scored a moment ago off the Abazio 8-meter mark, and here's the Cardinals trying to tack on another one, make it a 2-goal advantage. There hasn't been a 2-goal advantage yet today. Once one team has scored, the other team has answered. So New Canaan looking for the same result here, but the Cardinals trying to tack on one more. Ball back over to Roth, Aubrey Roth, one of the best players on the Cardinals team. We haven't seen her do much today. There, the shot off the assist from Roth. I believe that was Civitello, Rachel Civitello there, the snipe
Aubrey
past
Roth.
Patterson.
Aubrey Roth did a great job there of pulling in the second defender for the double team, and they left their girl wide open in the middle, which is definitely a dangerous position to put CC Patterson in.
See the replay here. Roth feeds it right over to Civitello and can't stop that one. Hits a little bit of iron, which is why you heard the ding. But what a shot there from Civitello.
I definitely think it's important for maybe the Rams to try to get possession here off this draw control. It's 6-4, the biggest lead of the game so far, so I definitely think the Rams are probably looking to get some possession here.
Greenwich wasting no time there, scoring off the 8-meter mark, and then a great dish from Roth to Civitello, And she scores. Here's Patton picking up the draw, the ground ball. New Canaan now moving into their offense after giving up 2 consecutive goals. Looking for an answer. 4:05 remaining in this first half. Greenwich find themselves up 6-4 against the 1-seeded Rams. The drive there from Janiga decides to just dish it back up top to Patton. Here's Patton, makes her move, wide open shot, bounce shot. Goes left of the cage. Ball's gonna be retained by the Rams. Of Patton knifing her way inside. Definitely a quality opportunity if you're the Rams, something you like to see.
Ooh.
A little bit of contact on Devin Russell. That'll be a 12-meter mark. See, and a contact like that, right, that's unfortunate because if you're Russell, you really take a beating there and you don't get an 8-meter mark to show for it. Instead, you get a 12-meter mark. But you think the Rams, they decide to pass it out. But how fast do you think they're going to try to run their offense now?
You know, obviously they're down 2 goals, which isn't ideal for the Rams, but it's only 2 goals. It's early on in the game. I don't think that they should be, you know, rushing their possessions here. I think definitely look for the smarter opportunities because they are down 2 goals, and they don't want to give Greenwich another opportunity on offense, I think, before they get a goal themselves.
You just saw right there Devin Russell trying to catch the pass cleanly picked off by the Greenwich defender, but Russell ended up on the ground. She'll get an 8-meter mark. Great positioning, too, from the top of the key. Here is Devin Russell.
Definitely dangerous on the
Shot
8-meter.
and another save by Janice. What a first half she's been having. That's got to be 8 to 10 saves, quality saves she's made on the New Canaan Rams offense. I mean, an 8-meter mark, full stop on Devin Russell, not something you see often.
Yeah, we've talked about the strength of the New Canaan offense, and she's been having a great game and definitely been shutting them down, which I think, you know, is definitely helping Greenwich stay in this game and maintain this lead because, you know, they have their offensive weapons, but if the goalie is making those great saves, it's definitely going to help keep this deficit alive.
And then on the other side, Cece Patterson not having one of her best games, and you've seen the impact it's had on the Rams. One of the best goalkeepers in the country, if not the best in the class of 2025. She definitely needs to step up. I think we're seeing a goaltender battle kind of taking its place. Janice definitely winning the goaltender battle early on. 6-4 here, 1:30 remaining. It would be great for New Canaan, right? If you're Coach Woods, you want them to score before the end of the half. Knifes her way inside. That's Janiga.
Greenwich will come up with
free.
You could see the Rams are coming down the field really fast there, and I was honestly looking for the fast break. I think now would be a good time for it to get some momentum back in their favor, but Greenwich's defense has been playing really strong all game, and they managed to get that turnover there.
So do you look for the fast break, or do you look for the offense to kind of settle things down, get all of your offensive players down so you can get those rebounds on those shots? Or do you want to move in the fast break, right? You're down by 2.
I think it really
depends.
depends.
That means anything.
That was a shorter defensive rep for them, so you know, I think it definitely is nice to settle, but if they have the fast break, definitely push for it, and if they don't, then they can settle it.
Greenwich gets past the ferocious New Canaan defense. Now settling up their offense, up by 2, and a goal here. There's 45 seconds left, but a goal to put you up by 3 would be a big goal for the Cardinals. Ball taken behind the cage by DePietro.
Roth up top with it.
DePietro to Roth. Roth taking it herself, turn the corner, looks for her teammate, but then picked up by Patterson, who loses the ball. And a tough turnover there if you're Patterson. Ball escapes the stick. Looked like it had a mind of its own.
Greenwich will maintain possession.
Greenwich maintaining possession. Here's Kate Adorney, moves it over to Roth. Greenwich a shot there. That will do it for the end of the first half. Greenwich finds themselves the 5-seeded Greenwich Cardinals up 6-4 against the FCIAC favorite, number 1 seeded New Canaan Rams. New Canaan gonna have to go back to the drawing board, get something working, and Greenwich want to maintain that momentum, take it into the second half. And again, Thank you. You're watching DAF Media, a joint venture of the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. This broadcast is also being simulcast to NCTV. So thank you guys for watching on both NCTV 78 and DAF Media. We'll see you back here in just a few short minutes for the second half of action of the first FCIAC semifinal game.
Are you enjoying this broadcast? If you like what you see on the DAF Media Network, please help support us with a donation. DAF Media is committed to education and broadcast excellence. Your support allows us to keep bringing you high-quality community programming while giving our student volunteer broadcasters hands-on STEM experiential learning of all parts of computer networking and video production. Your donations help pay for equipment, insurance, transportation, and our award-winning advisor, and make these broadcasts possible. To donate, you can scan the Venmo QR code shown here or visit our website at dafmedia.org/donate. The link to donate is also in the description of this YouTube video. For those of you who prefer a more traditional approach, checks can be made payable to DAF Media and mailed to the address shown here. Any donation of $1,000 or more will be recognized as sponsors of our broadcasts for 1 year. Feel free to pause the broadcast to write this down. Thanks for watching and supporting DAF Media.
The Darien Foundation was founded in 1998 by Richard and Maureen Chilton, and the thesis behind that founding was to bring technology to the Darien public school systems. And that launched us, and that got us going. And through technology and capital project initiatives, we've now funded over $5.5 million over the last 24 years to build a better Darien.
Our board really likes to get involved and assist the partners that we collaborate with, whether it's a grant for a youth project or a grant from a community service, schools, the police. Often they come to us with ideas that we help them bring to fruition.
The Darien Foundation recently awarded the Darien Police Department 2 grants. One was for laser shot and the other for Faro technology. Laser shot technology is based on decision making. It may come down to using their firearm, but in reality, we would like them to talk the situation down where you use less lethal force, and this program allows us to do that.
Police, drop the gun!
Faro technology gives us a 360-degree view, catching all the points we need to catch in our accident scene. It also takes a lot less time. This allows us to open up roads, get traffic flowing a lot quicker than we ever used to be able to. We can also map the inside of buildings. We can use it at outdoor crime scenes, indoor crime scenes. It's really used for a plethora of investigations. It's a tool that most other departments may not have their hands on just yet, and thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have that technology.
At Home in Darien is a nonprofit organization that helps senior citizens to remain living independently in their home and in the community. We provide important services to help them do so, such as transportation. Thanks to the Darien Foundation, we have this amazing new van, and we are so excited about it and what it'll do for the community.
From all standpoints, this is going to be a real improvement in the services we provide, both in terms of safety and comfort. The Darien Foundation is important to the community in the scope that they reach out to answer needs.
Post 53 is the town's ambulance service. We respond to over 1,600 emergency calls a year. We're a vital service that has been here for 51 years. The technology upgrades provided by the Darien Foundation has been a game changer for us. It's allowed us to improve our training. It has helped us hone our skills. You don't know how important an ambulance is until you actually need it. Thanks to our partnership with the Darien Foundation, who's provided all this technology and several grants throughout the years, we're able to continue to be prepared, to be well-trained and well-staffed, to respond 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whenever you need it.
The Darien Foundation is really excited to be able to launch a new program for the Darien schools, which will benefit students K through 12 in all 7 schools. This is the new robotics program, which will be an extracurricular opportunity for students to build robots, compete against other leagues, and collaborate together.
Our robotics program is going to benefit students in so many ways. In regular classes, students are always looking for the right answer, that there's only one way to answer something. Robotics is completely different. In robotics, you learn that there are multiple solutions to every problem. You learn that you have these obstacles that you have to overcome. You have to really be a creative problem solver. And most importantly, you need to persevere.
Early on in the process, the Darien Foundation reached out to administration and the offer to provide funding for a project, and it just dovetailed beautifully to the goals of the strategic plan. I look forward to continue to work closely with the Darien Foundation, both on this project and other projects down the line.
We welcome ideas for possible grants. We'd like to do grants that promote and strengthen our community. Sometimes it's from an organization, sometimes it's from our emergency service partners, or it's from the Darien Public Schools. One of our most popular grants, which was the Playground by the Sound, came to us from 4 Darien moms who said, let's get together and figure out how to build this.
Thanks to the generosity of our board members and officers, every dollar you give to the Darien Foundation goes directly to the grants that we're supporting. I invite all of you to help us move our community further and support the Darien Foundation.
Welcome back to Jack Casagrande Field here for the FCIAC Girls Lacrosse Semifinals, the first game of 2 that are slated for today. And right now, the Greenwich Cardinals, the 5 seed in the FCIAC tournament, find themselves up 6-4 against the 1-seeded New Canaan Rams. The Cardinals coming out hot. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Izzy Shu. And again, thank you for joining us on DAF Media Network and NCTV for this joint stream. Second half action about to start, but Izzy, how about that first half from the Cardinals?
That was a great first half. They came out really quick, and they definitely showed the Rams, and I think that this lead has been really helpful and helped to maintain the pace of this game.
Devin Russell won the draw, ball picked up by Patton, and back over to Russell, moving into the offensive zone, over to Rowe.
Ooh.
The missed pass down to Janiga. And that's an early offensive turnover for the Rams, then picked up by the Cardinals, but not the way you wanted to start off the second half. An unforced error for the Rams.
Oh, good on the ride.
Great check there on the ride from Rowe. Gonna pick up the ball back into the offense. The Columbia commit there. Some great defense on the ride. We didn't see much of that from either team in the first half, but what a great defensive play there from Rowe on the ride. Ball back up top to Devin Russell, then back over to Rowe. New Canaan gonna remain patient and settled down 6-4 against Greenwich. Not the first half result you were to expect going into this game. I'm sure Coach Wood's definitely not expecting her team to come out a little bit slower, but a lot of goals in that first half. So Both defenses need to tighten up a little bit. Ball back up top to
Good
Lexi
D.
Tully. She's going to be double teamed, going to be forced to get rid of the ball, but gets her way out of it, then moves it over to her teammate, then back down low to Janiga. Janiga over to Maddie Tully, someone we haven't called their
wide
name much of.
open.
Maddie Tully to Lexi Tully. And she
Oh.
netted one there, but it's going to be drawn back. She's going to get the 8-meter mark. She probably would have just liked to have that one count, but instead she's going to be put at the 8-meter mark. And here is Tully, the shot, and she scores. Lexi Tully nets it not once, but twice. Only going to be credited for the one on the 8-meter mark, right past Janice, and a good job by the New Canaan Rams. Get back into the offense. You can't give up free positions to Devin Russell, Lexi Tully, anyone on this New Canaan team, but Lexi Tully takes advantage there.
Yeah, that's definitely what the Rams needed, starting off the half on a good note. And, you know, they left Lexi Tully wide open the middle, and I don't think they'll be doing that again, because in a game like this, you're definitely going to see Lexi being able to execute on those important shots.
And one thing to make note of, if you're a Rams fan, I'm sure you know this, but the Rams offense, when they get hot, you can't stop them, and they've also been a second half dominant team. Once they start off the first half kind of slow, that second half you'll see them net multiple goals in a row without really any hesitation, and the offensive firepower just takes over. But that one, draw controlled by Abazia, who's been superb for the Cardinals. They're going to force Crowley to take a couple steps back. She moves up, and Abazia slides right past her. Abazia double team, now almost triple teamed. The Maryland commit making her impact known on the game so far. And here's the Cardinals going to slow down, get into their patient offense, look for the cut from maybe DePietro. Just seeing time and time again, ball back down low to DePietro now. Sophie DePietro, one of the better underclassmen in the FCIAC, Sophie DePietro. She's been a star today. Abazio gets pushed over by Crowley there. Got to be careful. You can't afford to go woman down in this situation. You're down by one, but a woman down situation against any team in this FCIAC tournament puts you at a great disadvantage. You'll see Abazio with an 8-meter mark from a terrible angle from the right side. Patterson in net.
Could definitely see her taking this one, even though she's not on the greatest hash.
She might try to cut across the middle, would be my thought, right? Or maybe take a shot from the lefty. Abazio looked for a shooting space, couldn't find any, so she decides to pull it out. Here is Abazio behind the net for the Cardinals.
We've seen her be very successful down low today, so D's definitely looking to close her down here.
Here is Abazio. Patterson almost got caught. Turning not fast enough, but Abazio couldn't net that one. That one goes high and out of bounds, but picked up by the Cardinals. Cardinals now up top. Pass inside to DePietro. She shoots. That one goes wide left, but again, DePietro with the cut. Not marked by her woman. You got to do a better job if you're the Rams and you want to get back into this game.
Good interception by Izzy Apelt.
Interception from the senior captain, Apelt. Then picked up by the Cardinals. And it will stay in New Canaan's hands. Great interception from the senior captain, Izzy Apelt, committed to Georgetown for college lacrosse. And here is Tully streaking across the field, moving it into the offensive zone, going to take it herself. And it looked like her sole purpose there was to draw the 8-meter mark. I mean, you're guarded by 4 or 5 Greenwich Cardinals defenders. And she looked like she was still trying to get the shot off. Great job, great awareness and smart play from Lexi Tully.
Definitely.
And she finds herself right up top, and she scores the neutralizer. 6-6. New Canaan and Greenwich now all tied up thanks to Lexi Tully. Her second goal out in the half off an 8-meter mark. Lexi Tully there will get the replay here. And the shot, you can't give Lexi Tully that opportunity. Great shot, Lexi Tully to the non-stick side of Janice. And Tully neutralizes the game at 6. The 5-seeded Cardinals have lost their 2-goal lead just about halfway through this third quarter. And we've seen a different Rams team in the third quarter,
Definitely.
right, Izzy?
I think, that was a great defensive rep. They managed to, TC had a few good saves, and they managed to get a good interception to get the ball back into their possession. And then that was a quick goal by Lexi Tully. We rarely see them execute off the fast break or even try for it, but they did. She drawed the 8-meter and then was able to execute.
See Devin Russell inside the draw circle. Again, for the Rams, they've seen her take most of the draws in the second half. She wins that one. A new face inside the draw circle for the Cardinals. That's Collier instead of Abazia. Interesting decision from head coach Tara Clow to switch up the person inside the draw circle, the person Emma Abazia, who's been playing on another level today, and take her out. Cardinals swarmed by the New Canaan defense. Great check there from behind by Rowe, the midfielder, showing off her defensive skill set.
Definitely seeing some more physicality as the game's gone on from both teams.
Ball then picked up by Devin Russell, but back to that physicality. If you go back, you watch the New Canaan Darien game, that game was probably the most physical girls lacrosse game of the season for this Rams team, and the physicality looking a little bit similar to that right now. Just kind of taking control, really relentless. And I think one thing, they got a lot of calls early on in this game that gave the Cardinals those 8-meter marks, those 12-meter marks. And so they kind of took the foot off the gas pedal in terms of physicality. But now they're really tightening up their defense, right, clamping down and being a little bit more physical. And it's turned out in their favor.
Yeah, and we've definitely seen a lot more of the physicality between the two restraining lines. We've seen an improvement in the ride from the Rams and the Cardinals, which I think has been helpful, although there's definitely been some calls.
Here is the New Canaan Rams offense again, just going to take their time. Rowe over to Patton, who then goes down low to her teammate, but receives the ball right back by Janiga. Then ball back down low. Then over, trying to get it to inside to Patton. A little bit of physicality. Ball pops out of the stick. Then picked up by Janice. Janice looking to have the same half she had in that first half. She was a brick wall in net for the Cardinals, stopping the best Rams offensive opportunities time and time again. Here is the Cardinals. That was Collier. And you see the Cardinals here on a little bit of a fast break opportunity. They decided to pull it out. Here is McFerrin. And back down low, the Cardinals now going to settle things down. Be interesting, right? You think New Canaan wants to play at a slower pace now, or you think that they benefit off that fast pace? You saw them move down the field. That both times they scored, they didn't hesitate. They didn't waste any time on the offense. You think they want to play at a slower pace right now?
I definitely think both teams are probably going to be looking to slow it down. We've seen a lot of turnovers and a lot of time spent playing between the two restraining lines. So I think that both teams could probably benefit from some longer possessions here. But, I think it's obviously a tie game, so I think these teams need to be scoring. So a little pace also wouldn't be terrible.
Dylan McFerrin, the sophomore there, tried to get the shot off, then picked up by Patterson, who's far outside of the crease. Patterson picked it up, weaved in between two Greenwich Cardinals defender, then dumps it off to Apelt. Then feeds it up to Tully, over to Russell, and again, here it is.
Quick
the
transition.
New Canaan transition offense, trying to put, again, something special, take the lead for the first time in this game. Janiga over, then back up top to Tully. Over to Patton. Patton hasn't really had her hand in the offense like we normally see. We'll see if she gets a little bit more involved. We've seen them rely heavily on Lexi Tully, Devin Russell, the two, I would say, best players. I mean, this entire Rams offense is just so good, and even the defense is so good, but Devin Russell and Lexi Tully, the two players with the most points, they have over 100 career points, both of them Lexi Tully now has over 200 career points. That's a lot of points in 4 years.
Ooh.
Good slide there from the Cardinal defense. Then great defense, able to pick the ball, pickpocket Lexi Tully. And here is Abazia by herself. Abazia now switches over to her left hand. Tried to go inside. She was knocked down. Looked like she might have been checked in the face. She's down for a minute. Abazia gonna take her time on the ground. Looked like she might have gotten slashed, but no claw. And look at that Cardinal bench over there. It looked like Clow was calling for the timeout maybe, as her entire team is off the bench. And we'll see. It looks like the referees are deciding whether or not there's going to be a penalty on that play, but I believe it's just a timeout by Coach Clow. And if you're Coach Clow, what's the purpose of this timeout, right? You have the ball now, tie game 6-6, a minute 53 seconds remaining in this third quarter. But what's the purpose of this timeout, and how do you capitalize off of this timeout?
I definitely think just giving all of the players a good break, but also I think we've seen a lot of Emma Abazia on the floor in the second half, so I definitely think giving their key player, just giving her a minute just to decompress a little bit, because I think that was her second or third offensive possession where she ended up on the ground, so I think that's important, but also probably just giving, their offense an idea of what they should do going forward, and hopefully they're probably looking to get a goal here.
And if you're Coach Woods, you've had a better second half than that first half. You got some offense going by the likes of Lexi Tully, who had both the goals in the second half so far. How do you kind of get back into the offensive momentum and shift from scoring at those 8-meter marks, although they're very important? How do you get more into the offense and kind of start moving the ball around and get better opportunities?
I definitely think just a quick transition, making sure they get the ball over the restraining line so that they can then possess the ball, because there's definitely been some turnovers in between the restraining lines, but I think it's definitely been really fast-paced on both sides of the field for both teams, so I think that they should just slow it down, really wait for the perfect opportunity, and let their players rest a little bit.
And you see the full timeout here from Coach Clow, and here we have a minute. We'd like to thank you, the entire crew that's helping produce this game. We'd like to thank you. You're watching DAF Media, a joint venture of the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. This broadcast is also being simulcast on NCTV. So thank you for joining us on NCTV 78, as well as DAF Media. Myself, John Frieders, joined alongside Izzy Shu. Our entire crew says thank you for watching, and we have a really good matchup right now. The 5-seeded Greenwich Cardinals are even with the number 1 seed New Canaan Rams, even at 6. We had a little bit more time put on the clock as well, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Coach Woods retains all 3 of her timeouts. That timeout puts Coach Clow down to 2, but those timeouts will become crucial too as this game goes on, right? Give your star players a breather, as you mentioned, and just kind of settle things down as well.
We'll see what the refs decide to do here. Looks like it might be, yeah,
and also another one of those premium benefits to having timeouts is towards the end of this game, right? If you get an 8-meter mark, the clock doesn't stop. So you need to call that timeout. You need to have a timeout so that if you get an 8-meter mark, the game's close, you can stop the clock and then get the 8-meter mark and start the clock.
Definitely.
Whereas if you don't have that, then the clock could run out without you having the opportunity to score.
Looks like the Rams have moved into a face guard on Emma Abazia. Number 4, Addie Crowley, the junior, is face guarding her, and she'll just move her way into the corner and basically take herself out of the play.
Yeah, that's probably a smart decision if you're the Rams, right? Box out Abazia, force Sophie DePietro, her sister, Lily DePietro, Giselle DePietro, as well as Aubrey Roth, force those players to kind of orchestrate the offense and then live kind of from those results, live or die from those results of your defense. Probably a smart decision. You don't want Abazia taking over the game as she did in that first half. Here's the Cardinals' offense moving the ball around. Again, tied 6-6, a minute 15 seconds remaining, and it looks like the Cardinals are going to hold for the last possession of this third quarter. No real rush, right, Izzy? And a goal here really helps you if you can get the lead going into the fourth quarter. A lead here would be extremely beneficial. Here is DePietro up top. A great pick set by Collier. Going to be double teamed.
They're playing very high up. They're almost touching the restraining line, which I think is definitely a good decision from Greenwich because they have a lot of speed from their offensive players. So I think that if they can beat their defender up high, I think they could capitalize off of that.
Devin Russell almost come free with that poke check, but definitely a smart decision. And I think that the New Canaan defense has the legs to do something like that, right? They have the speed. You saw Abazio there come around the corner. Great defense, ball picked up. Here's Sidney Patton moving across midfield, across the 35, 40. Here's the 20. Patton over to Rowe. She shoots, and a point-blank save by Janice. We'll have to get a replay. That'll end the third quarter. You saw Patton over to Rowe. Point-blank stop by Janice. And the Cardinals will definitely go into the fourth quarter with that momentum. What a stop there from Janice on Rowe.
Definitely a big save. I think definitely the Rams looked really good coming down the field there, but they weren't quite able to capitalize on that shot.
We'll be back here in just a few short moments for the fourth quarter of action. Your Greenwich Cardinals, the 5th seed, tied 6-6 with the 1 seed. The fourth quarter coming up shortly in just a couple minutes. And if you are just joining us here at the fourth quarter of the FCIAC Semifinals, the first game, New Canaan, Greenwich, you're joining us at the right time. You find yourselves 6-6, Cardinals and the Rams tied. Greenwich won the draw there, and they move into the offensive zone. But what a game we've had so far, Izzy. And it's only about to get better. This is where champions are made. You score a goal here. A goal is big. The value of a goal, the value of a timeout, or the value of a quick, simple decision is amplified here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
we're definitely tied contest.
We're definitely going to need to see a lot of strong defense from both teams. You know, we've seen both the offenses at work, but I think defense is going to be big here. It's just like at the end of the third quarter with that big save. It's stuff like that that's going to win one of these teams this game.
You just saw the defensive stop. You were talking about defense. Defensive stop by the Rams. The Cardinals couldn't get the shot off on Patterson. Here's Rowe taking it down, switching The wide pass over to her teammate, then back over to Lane. Comes streaking down the field. Just going to give it off to Patton. Patton over to Tully. And Tully back down low to her sister, Maddie Tully. That was Janiga over to Patton. Patton up top trying to work on her defender. Slides a little bit. Gets a shot, or gets a little bit of an area for a shot, but decides to pull it out. And you'll see both offenses. Great job by Lexi Tully. She shoots and scores. Lexi Tully, the second half hat trick. 2 in the third quarter. Now 1 to open up the fourth. And that makes it 7-6. Lexi Tully coming in clutch when New Canaan needed that offensive spark. Makes it 7-6, 10:25 remaining. And what a cut there from Tully. Just decided, give me the ball, and I'll do it myself. But a great feed there from her teammate.
That's a huge goal for the Rams. That's also Lexi's third goal of the second half. So I think that was definitely big. And we've talked about how the Rams are a second half team, and I definitely think that even on a 1-goal lead, that's definitely all they need to turn the game around, and they can run with it if they need to.
And guess who that assist was? Guess who had the assist on that play? No other
Maddie Tully,
than
probably.
Devin Russell.
I was wrong.
Devin Russell feeding it over to Lexi Tully, the senior captain, to senior captain, both committed to play Division I lacrosse. Lexi Tully at Cornell and Devin Russell at Boston College, two of the best programs in the country. Devin Russell comes up with the ground ball over to Janiga. Janiga going to take it back down low, but now Greenwich needs an defensive stop. We mentioned New Canaan needing defensive stop for most of that first half. Now Greenwich on the flip side of the coin needs something here. That's Patton over to Tully and back over to her sister. That was Lexi to Maddie Tully. It's hard to say Tully to Tully, but you hear it a lot when you're talking about this New Canaan team.
Definitely.
Devin Russell down low. See, really nowhere to go. He's going to be forced to dish off the ball. Definitely lots of eyes on Devin Russell and Lexi Tully. Ball back up top to Patton, forced to pull it out, reset the offensive set. There is New Canaan in no rush, right? You're up 7-6 now. That goal, you definitely need another goal for padding. You have 3 timeouts as well, so if you get a look, you get someone double, triple teamed, you can call that timeout, stop things. But 9-10 here remaining at Jack Casa Grande Field.
It looks like the Rams are in their mountain play, which is their notorious stall play, but they're not in any rush. They definitely have managed to score off this play before, but they're not in a rush to score a goal and potentially risk losing possession.
Here is Devin Russell, ball fed to her by Rowe over to Janiga.
She's left all alone in that elbow.
Janiga is going to get an 8-meter mark, not from the top of the key, but not from an extreme corner. Has a little bit of a shooting angle. We'll see what she decides to do, but Janice has been a brick wall in net. Here's Janiga working way inside. She shoots and scores. You see it from the celebration. Easy Janiga makes it a 2-goal advantage for the Rams. You saw her take the ball from the 8-meter mark, then weave herself in front of the net. What a goal there from Janiga. See the replay there. That was Lexi Tully's goal from earlier on.
Yeah.
But Janiga had the goal, the most recent goal, the 8-meter mark, kind of fed her way. She started from the 8-meter mark, then weaved her way inside, got a better angle, then deked out Janice and scored. Now, how big is that second goal, Izzy, right? You know, now you see New Canaan in the draw circle. It automatically
looks like there must have been a foul after the goal. You know, I think a 2-goal lead's definitely really good for the Rams, and I definitely think we're going to see some urgency from Greenwich. They need the ball back. It's not been an incredibly high-scoring game, so I think obviously 2 goals isn't a huge, you know, difference, but I definitely think that Greenwich is going to be in a bit of a rush to get a goal on the board, or if not 2.
And now the Cardinals are playing women down right now, so it's going to open up offensive opportunities for the Rams. You see them just kind of settling things down. Russell over to Tully, who then receives the ball back Over to Janica, a little bit of space inside.
Oh, great goal.
There, and a goal.
Sydney Patton was left all alone there in the middle.
Sydney Patton, couldn't quite see who it was. Originally, Sydney Patton, again, left wide open on her own island in the center of the field, right in front of Janice, and she converts. Sydney Patton scores. We were waiting to call Sydney Patton's name on an assist or a goal. She does just that, makes it 9-6. New Canaan on top of Greenwich. This was the score of the last time these teams played earlier in the regular season, but Greenwich has got a lot of clawing back to do if they want a chance to play on Wednesday. Now down by 3 with 7:47 remaining.
And it looks like the Cardinals will be playing man down. I think Emma Abazio may have a yellow card. I don't know if I missed that.
That's a big one, right? Emma Abazio now taken out of the game, so Greenwich loses their probably most prominent offensive weapon for 2 minutes. You mentioned probably 30 seconds down.
That's an important draw there for the
an
Cardinals.
Important draw. Now you can move the ball around. You see Patton trying to steal the ball from DePietro. But now if you're the Cardinals, right, you can just kind of move the ball around, settle things down. You want to clear off the time that you're playing man down as well. You don't want to give New Canaan the ball and give them kind of the power play. Cardinals moving the ball around the circle here. See New Canaan in no rush, obviously up by 3. They have no pressure on them to score. They're fine with Greenwich just passing the ball around. Greenwich needs to move with a little bit of urgency. It's tough to do.
You know, the Rams are definitely, you know, aggressive on defense, but they're not in any rush to get possession back. So I think they're just going to wait on the 8, and they're not going to try to do anything crazy to get the ball back.
DePietro guarded by Russell. DePietro working away inside, thought about shooting. They're going to call a shooting space violation. There, we'll see. It will be an 8-meter mark for DePietro. An opportunity to take a goal off the scoreboard, right, or add one to the scoreboard, make the lead 2 instead of 3. It would be a big goal. Have to take advantage. She just decides to pass out. Not much you can do when you're a woman down.
It looks like, you know, this is a really difficult position for them to have been in before. I mean, now they're back to 7-on-7, but a few minutes ago they needed a goal, but they also need, you know, to help earn the penalty.
Here are the Cardinals. They have Abazio back out of the box. See if she's on the field. She has to get a touch. And there she is. Ball is loose, then picked up. That was Abazio on the ground yet again. New Canaan comes up with the ball. Tully then gets it across midfield to Rowe. Back to Patton, who just had a goal just a few short moments ago. Patton now going to take the ball to the corner. Probably run that play you mentioned earlier, that mountain play. Just trying to take time off the clock. That was Janica over to Patton, who then gives it to Tully. See Tully behind the net. Now fans really upset about that last call. Abazio didn't get one of the calls. She's probably had a couple of opportunities, a couple calls she wished she would have gotten throughout this game. Here's Russell guarded by Abazio over to Tully. Back up top to Rowe. 4:40 remaining. The shot there. Tully tries to push it in. They'll call a crease violation. Their feet obviously in the crease as she was trying to push that ball in past Janice.
Good ride there by Isabel Janica.
Here is O'Connor just trying to get the ball past midfield. Down by 3, 4:15 remaining. And that'll be a timeout by Coach Cloud. But if you're Greenwich, now's desperation mode. You're down by 3, 4:16 remaining. We'll see if they add any time to the clock. But now you have one timeout. That's not what matters. The fact that you're down by 3, you need to get into the offensive zone here and then score pretty quickly, right, Izzy?
Yeah, we definitely, like, you can already hear from the fans, you know, there's definitely some urgency, but, you know, you have to make sure that you're still playing clean, that you're not getting any bad calls, and you're also not making any, you know, unforced errors. But, yeah, they definitely need to get down there on their offensive side and look to score quick if they want to, you know, potentially come back. But, yeah.
Yeah, and then on the other side, New Canaan, we've seen a completely different second half team. They've outscored the Cardinals 5-2 in this second half.
Wow.
The Rams defense haven't given up a goal so far in the second half. They're down 6-4 at halftime. Definitely not the best first half of lacrosse. Then got some coaching adjustments, really saw the offense start clicking once they leaned on the backs of Lexi Tully and Devin Russell. Tully has a hat trick in this second half alone. So this New Canaan team has rebounded pretty nicely, and Greenwich needs to find an answer. While we have a quick minute in the action here, we'd like to thank you. You're watching DAF Media and DAF Media Production, and DAF Media is a joint venture of the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. Today's broadcast is also being simulcast to NCTV. So thank you guys for joining us, whether you're on NCTV or DAF Media. Thank you for joining us on YouTube to watch the FCIAC semifinals, the first game. And stay tuned if you want a good lacrosse game next as well. This game has been great. Expect another great game between Darien and Wilton, which is definitely primed to be one of the better games the entire season in the FCIAC conference. I mentioned Wilton beat Darien for the first time in a very long time earlier in the regular season. They're looking to do it twice in a row, take out the Blue Wave. And depending on the winner of this game, they'll either face Greenwich or New Canaan. We'll see. It looks like New Canaan has the advantage. 3:50 remaining. Here's DePietro over to Collier. Greenwich, you got to move with some urgency, right? You're down by 3. You don't have all day. Here's Abazio, double teamed. Now going to be triple teamed. She has to get rid of the ball. That was Addie Crowley, who looked like her stick got a little bit too much of Abazio. They're not going to call the penalty. She's going to get a 12-meter mark. Abazio has shown her relentlessness. We'll see if she decides to take it in herself. But I'd assume that she's going to pass it out, look for a cut across the middle, lean on her teammates. Here's Abazio. Again, double-teamed, face-guarded.
Good D by the Rams.
By the Rams defense. Cardinals working. That was Collier working on her defender. And she's going to be given a 8-meter mark. This time, though, not from a good angle. We'll see if she's moving over a couple of hashes to get a better angle. Collier. Patterson awaiting probably the shot from Collier. Collier with the 8-meter mark. Greenwich down by 3, 2:42 remaining in this fourth quarter. The refs look like they're shuffling cards here, just shuffling all the players, moving the players away from that right side. The pass inside, shot. There goes wide. The Cardinals got the opportunity. They wanted the cut across the middle. The shot just goes wide right, picked up by McFerrin. The shot there saved by Patterson. That was Giselle DePietro trying to net her third of the game. DePietro having a great game so far, but Patterson says no. A game-defining stop. We've seen Patterson completely shift in the second half. Looks like a completely different goalie than she was in the first half. Had a big save there.
I also definitely think that the Rams defense has improved throughout the second half, because I definitely think that they put CC in a difficult position a few times in the first half, but they're definitely looking better now.
Here are the Rams. They can taste it. Now 1 minute 30 seconds left in the fourth quarter, up 9-6. Winner of this game moves on to the FCIAC Finals, which is Wednesday at 7. Probably the best girls lacrosse conference
Looks like that'll be a
in
card.
the state. One of the best in the country this year, with 3 teams ranked in the top 10 in the entire country. New Canaan was at 6. Darien was at 10, and Wilton was at 9 after beating Darien. But you get good lacrosse anywhere you go around here, no matter the game. We're seeing some great lacrosse right now. New Canaan up 9-6, 1 minute 17 seconds remaining. And they're just going to play a hot potato with the ball right now. Ball passed back up top to Patton.
Looks like they're
Gotta
going
get rid
into
of the ball quickly. The Cardinals going into desperation mode. Here's Wayne. Ball almost picked up by the Cardinals, but then
a bit
picked
of a
up by Tully.
miscommunication there.
Ball in the air now. And that is taken down by the Cardinals. They're going to move. See Tully there reaching for the stick, trying to get the ball from O'Connor. O'Connor now trying to move the ball off. Can't do that. So ball going to be picked up by Lexi Tully. And what a second half it was for Lexi Tully. Ignited the Rams offense with the first 3 goals of this second half. Definitely a different Lexi Tully we saw in that first half. It seems like the Rams just got off to a slow start. Greenwich came out really, really hot, not able to bring that momentum from the first half to the second half.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't see it quite at the beginning of the third quarter, but the Rams are a second half team, and their increase in energy mixed with the Cardinals not being able to bring it out as much in the second half definitely helped the Rams out and led to their win.
And that will do it. The Rams are headed to the FCIAC final for the second consecutive season. So far, they lost to Darien last year. Look for a different result this year. Come out on top against the Greenwich Cardinals, 9-6. But what a fight the Cardinals put on. What a match we saw here between the New Canaan Rams, the 1 seed, and the Greenwich Cardinals. And if you're the Rams, right, what can you take away from this game and move into that championship game?
You know, we've mentioned that they're a second half team, but whether they're playing Darien or Wilton, they have to come out strong. They have to prove themselves in the first half, you know, because it can be helpful in a big game like the FCIAC Finals to be playing catch-up in the second half. But I think they really proved themselves in the second half and came out really strong, which was great.
Yeah, you're right. That start to the FCIAC Championship going to be the biggest start of the season so far. You see on the field now, you see the Blue Wave warming up, going to face Wilton in just about half an hour here. So stay on DAF Media Network. But before we go, we'd like to thank our entire crew that helped out today. We had on graphics Dalton Moss. We had director Thomas Aponte. Instant replay was Ava Stone. Cameras Declan Cunningham, Saram Pankarati, Leon Chen, and Charlotte Kaiser. And then DAF Media Advisor Damian Andrews. I'd like to thank him a lot. He does a lot in putting these productions together. We'd also like to say you're watching a DAF Media, a joint venture of a DAF Media production, a joint venture between the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. It's also being simulated to NCTV. So thank you for joining us. Myself, John Friedrich, and Izzy Shu are going to say goodbye. Thank you for joining us for the first of 2 FCIAC semifinals. See you next time.